What's up, everybody, and welcome to Pizza and Pixels, the show where myself and JP order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. Of course, I'm one of your hosts, Josh, aka HexxedPhenom, and joining me today is
JP,
the abstract rocker himself, JP.
Just got that trademark. we're embracing it,
And we're putting it to good use.
We're putting it to good use. Publicity, man. That's what it's all about.
But I feel like it's kind of sad since this is our return episode of Pizza and Pixels and we're not doing it. We're not going to be ordering a pizza because we're actually recording 2 episodes today.
I know.
So the second episode that we record, we'll be ordering the pizza. So I know this is kind of sacrilege.
It's going to be sacrilege, but it's not like we're recording this one day and then coming back like 2 weeks later. We're just recording them both in one day.
Yeah.
The next one's with Tyler, actually. So you guys know him from the WB series.
Exactly.
We're going to be having a good time.
We're going to be having
our top games of the decade.
Yep, that'll be our top 10 games of the decade. But this one is going to be kind of more general gaming news. But the big button topic we're going to get into in a little bit is the new, possibly leaked and teased Crash Bandicoot game that we could be seeing
in June.
Pretty damn soon. Well we'll see it released in June, but we can see the reveal as soon as next week.
I was going to say, yeah, next week is the awards, right? Yeah,
next week is the Game Awards, but Sony is also doing a State of Play 2 days before that. So if the rumor holds that it's going to be a timed exclusive on PlayStation, we might actually see it at the State of Play next Tuesday. But we'll get into that.
That's okay. Hopefully, I think we're going to be seeing this game soon, but we'll get into that.
My PS4 is being a jet engine right now. So let's rectify this situation.
Imagine if it's just going off and people will be like, are you guys at an airport? Yes, we are in a side room at an airport. There's jets taking off right now. No, it's just Josh's PS4.
Modern Warfare is definitely the loudest I've ever heard my PS4 Pro.
Yeah, I hope my PS4 does not do that when I get Modern Warfare.
It might.
Oh, God.
But the first thing we're going to talk about is Google Stadia review. Now, we kind of talked about this when they first unveiled Google Stadia at, what was it, GDC, I believe?
I think so.
Earlier in the year.
It was a few months ago.
And turns out it's it's kind of hot garbage. So
wow,
let's get into it.
It's hot garbage. Oh my God, let's hear
about
this.
So the review we're taking a look at is from The Verge by Sean Hollister. So I'm not going to really go through this because this is a little bit of old news by now. But yeah, basically they gave it a 5 out of 10. And
shit, okay, this is gonna be
in summary, good stuff. It works. Clearer picture than early rivals, and seamless transitions between PC and phone. Bad stuff. 4K doesn't look like 4K. Chrome web version lacks fidelity. Gobs of features are missing at launch and doesn't work over LTE.
Wait,
so
it doesn't. Wow, jeez, wow.
Damn. Yeah. Wow. So there's a lot of features that are missing, which is obviously a huge, problem.
So essentially they overtalk this and now it's just absolutely showing entirely.
Yeah, pretty much it's like, hey, this is just like the basic early access. They're not calling it early access because they're making people pay $130 to have access to the service right now.
Well, that's a lot of fucking money. Is that a year membership?
No. That's $130 to...
Jesus.
Because the only way to play it right now is you need the Google Stadia controller. And the only way to get the controller is to buy a bundle from Google, which comes with... It comes with the controller. It comes with, I think, 3 months of Google Stadia Premium or whatever the fuck it's called.
Wow.
It comes with some, like, buddy pass so that you can give your friend 3 months of Google Stadia Premium. It comes with, like, a free pass for you to get your name or something like that. And then a Chromecast so you can plug it into your TV and play on your TV.
Wow, so it's like all publicity. Wow.
But yeah, basically almost all of the features that they talked about in their initial reveal and leading up to this,
the big hype.
Yeah, pretty much none of it exists. So basically,
wow, that's
not that it doesn't exist, but that it's not coming until sometime in 2020 or maybe even later down the line.
I'm still wondering why they even bothered getting into streaming services. I just think it was totally fine without Google, but there's always got to be competition somewhere, so it's bound to happen.
So from what I've heard, I haven't used anything other than PlayStation Now, but just from what I've heard,
So I'm loving PlayStation Now.
PlayStation Now is like kind of the bottom tier. It's definitely getting better, but I've heard that top tier is Xbox's xCloud service, and then it's Google Stadia, and then PlayStation Now.
I feel like PlayStation Now is going to make a move in 2020.
I think it is, especially I think they're going to harness the power of the PS5 in some way to help it, succeed a little bit more.
Yeah,
I also think that they're probably going to bundle PlayStation Now in with your PlayStation Plus subscription at some point.
Yeah, they're going to eventually just overtop this. But I think for where PlayStation Now was to where it is now, it's a whole nother service. So
and also, to be fair, PlayStation Now started like 3, 4, 5 years
ago, so
before these guys.
Yeah, we're talking like Origins here, so yeah, I think it should be good.
So, assuming Google doesn't change its plans, these are the 3 phases of Stadia's life. Today, at launch, Stadia is a $130 one-time purchase, plus $10 a month after a free-month trial, and plus $20 to $60 per game. So you don't even get... So it's not even like a Netflix subscription, where your premium subscription gives you all these games.
Yeah.
Your premium subscription just gets you 4K if you choose to, if you have a 4K display.
I get to see this being a disaster in 2020. Ooh.
So for early access to a service that lets you play a limited selection of 22 games, you can mostly already buy everywhere else. Except here, you can stream them directly from the cloud. On your TV with the included Chromecast Ultra dongle at 4K resolution with high dynamic range. With the included wireless Stadia controller, which is roughly equivalent to an Xbox One or DualShock controller, except it only works wirelessly with Chromecast. Or on Google Pixel phones at 1080p resolution, assuming you also buy a controller clip or phone stand and plug it in via USB-C, or via the Chrome web browser at 1080p resolution with any wired gamepad or mouse and keyboard of your choice, with the ability to seamlessly swap between phone and PC, or somewhat less seamlessly between TV, phone, and PC, to pick up where you left off on a different device, except without voice chat, captures, or Google Assistant, and without the ability to see achievements or share captures from any platform whatsoever, including TV and Chrome.
Wow.
In fact, Stadia reviewers weren't able to try any of these things on the platform, though Google claims they'll work on day one.
Wow, this is just all talk practically.
Pretty much.
This is all talk and no action. Wow.
We'll see where it gets to when some of these features become available, but as of right now, they basically... I don't even know. I mean, I don't remember what the full list of games on there is, but like the newest game out of all of them is like, I think Mortal Kombat 11, which came out last April.
That was my next question.
They're all like, or no, Red Dead Redemption I think is on there, which just came out for PC a month ago. So.
And that game's not even that good. That's overhyped entirely too. But yeah.
But obviously, it's way more worth it to play it on
PC
because you can do mods and everything else.
Yeah, I'm like, man, that's crazy. Only 22 games. What the hell?
Well, sometime in 2020, Stadia will become a free service, so you won't have to buy the controller, plus the cost of games, for a catalog of as many as 44 confirmed games, including standouts like Cyberpunk 2077 and possibly Baldur's Gate 3. With an optional $10 a month Stadia Pro subscription to play them at 4K with HDR, with an optional $70 Stadia controller that can theoretically hop between phone, PC, and TV, which also lets you listen and chat with your Bluetooth headphones, not just a wired 3.5mm set, with achievements, the ability to instantly share gameplay captures to YouTube and cross-platform voice chat, and an unspecified amount of YouTube integration with some of Stadia's promised features that didn't make launch. See below.
This just seems like a giant money pit. Like what? Like wow. I could see.
The sad thing is
this is crazy because Google like owns the internet market practically, and they make so much money. Like, why would you stiff people?
That's the thing that people are pointing out is like,
what?
Google has so much money, so people are like, well, it's Google. They have enough money to invest in this and keep going with it. So eventually, they'll get to the place where they want it to be. But also, someone did the math on like,
that's insane. The math.
Whenever Google introduces a new service like this, someone did the math on average of how long it takes for Google before they just shut it down and make it so that you can't use it anymore. And the average is like 4.5 years.
I give it 4 or 5 years.
So on average, people are assuming then that the Stadia is only going to last like 4 or 5 years before they just are like, nah, we're done.
I mean, yeah. Well, it's crazy just because they have so much money. It's like, why would you nickel and dime people? That's just like Steam trying to do their thing. That failed horribly.
I mean, granted, like, even if you say, like, okay, yeah, if you buy it right now, $130 for the Stadia Founders Pack, which comes with all that stuff, the free 3-month trial, which whatever. I think it does come with a free game every month, like PlayStation Plus, like Xbox Live, but still, I mean, you're paying. I mean, it's definitely cheaper than like a regular console, but it's also like the prospect of it's not going to work all the time, and you can't use it on LTE right now, so that's basically throws away like half of the actual use case of this thing.
I just feel like Google was bored, and they just wanted to compete with Sony and Microsoft.
It was basically like, hey, look at how many billions upon billions of dollars Sony and Microsoft are making. Let's try to do that too.
Let's try to do that.
As if they're not making enough billions of dollars off of Google itself, YouTube, Google Play, Android, all the other millions of things they own.
Wow. There's something I would say. I think it's more on the controversial side, so I'm not going to say it. But essentially, they're essentially just trying to put their name in places where I don't think their name really should be.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. So, that's sad. 22 games and then 44. Like PlayStation Now and Xbox, the xCloud, they have at least triple those games.
xCloud is different from Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Right now, xCloud it's only available to people that have been selected for the xCloud beta. Right now, I think it has 50-something, like 55 games. But they're saying in early to mid-2020, they'll be integrating fully every game from Xbox Game Pass to xCloud. So eventually, within the next like 6 to 8 months, there will be however the hell many games are on Game Pass on xCloud. The only thing with xCloud is that you have to own an Xbox to use it, which...
Hey, that's okay though, when you think about it.
If it works better than Stadia, you're spending an extra, what? An extra $70 to get something that works better and has more games.
And you have longevity out of it.
Yeah, plus
lasting appeal. I mean,
the games you already own are already working. You don't have to buy the service. You don't have to spend the $130.
A phone mount.
Buy a phone mount and then buy the games piecemeal too. Most of the games that you probably already own.
I just hate companies that like force crap down your throat like that. Like I love Google. It's just as soon as they're like, yeah, we're getting into the streaming business, I'm like, this is not going to be good. Oh man.
But it says someday Google has promised or suggested you'll be able to click on a YouTube ad for a game and jump straight into the game. You'll be able to live stream to YouTube in 4K at the same time you're playing in 4K. You'll be able to share a link to an exact moment in a game with friends or followers so they can try it instantly. Streamers will be able to let viewers line up to instantly join their games. You'll be able to see your friends' actual screens in some games and to help them coordinate. The controller's dedicated Google Assistant button will be able to help you beat games. Future games will combine the power of multiple Stadia servers to do things impossible on a console or PC, like a single shared world for every single player, advanced physics, fully destructible worlds, huge numbers of NPCs, etc. Google will release its own games for Stadia with some of these features. Other Android devices and perhaps iPhones will get in on the action. Cross-platform multiplayer may happen. Stadia will scale to 8K resolution at 120 frames a second.
I mean, at this rate, I think I would rather just see Apple make a streaming service. That's crazy. Google's really just... I mean, there's some really cool things in that good old little paragraph of information there, but man, I don't know how this is gonna go over. I think I give Google Stadia like 3 to 4 years because I don't see this taking off. It just sounds too absurd to even remotely work.
Yeah, the reviewer pretty much just goes on to say, like...
There's no innovation.
That in that article, anytime he uses the words 4K and 1080p, they're in air quotes, because he says that because it's streaming, it's not actual full, like, fidelity 1080p or full fidelity 4K. So it's fake 4K, fake 1080p, basically.
Yeah, I don't understand how they're just... Like, between the air quotes and I just think they're talking this up way too much. There's no way this is going to work. I think it's going to fail within 3 years. Speaking of 3,
especially now that, before we move on, especially now that Sony and Microsoft are essentially teaming up to kind of ward off Stadia.
Yeah, I don't
see Google surviving this one, but we'll see.
We'll see. And speaking of 3, there is something cool. My friend shared this the other day, so I'm kind of cool and glad that it popped up in this. This is awesome.
Wish Tyler was here to give us some insight on this because I don't really know much about it. But Resident Evil 3 Remake art appears on the PlayStation Store. Capcom's next Resident Evil remake could be announced soon. This one's by Charlie Hall over at Polygon.
I like how it popped on the PlayStation Store. You already know it's confirmed at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't really need to read through the article.
Store, yeah.
Someone went into the store. They found pages for Resident Evil 3. They found, and it wasn't even just in one specific region. They found it for Japan, they found it for America, and for Europe. So there's 3 different cover arts. You can go find them online. I don't think we could show them here, so just go search for them if you're interested. But it's, Resident Evil 3. Got Nemesis in the background, looking over Jill and, I don't know the other dude's name. I don't even know if Jill's the right name. I kind of just took a shot in the dark on that one.
That might be right. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, Tyler would definitely be able to give some insight on this. He's the Resident Evil guy.
But yeah, Resident Evil 2 Remake confirmed. I really liked that came out earlier this year. So I don't know if it gets the same treatment, then I'm sure this will be an awesome game as well.
It's just crazy knowing we're in like the dawn of remakes. It's really cool. It's something that people said would never ever exactly happen. I guess the way it's playing out right now, it's crazy. I like it. I love it. As long as we get original titles to go in between these, it's really cool.
The one thing that I've kind of has soured me on this new generation of not even just necessarily gaming, of just internet culture and stuff, is that I can't remember the last time that a big game has been announced and actually surprised me, that it wasn't leaked or rumored or whatever ahead of time.
Exactly. It's like everyone.
We'll even get into. I mean, even with Crash, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes, that's being leaked and rumored and teased all at the same time. So.
Exactly. Yeah. It's something good. I don't think the exact title is gonna be accurate, but I think the concept is gonna be spot on.
So the next thing, GTA Online gets a brand new casino heist and arcade business.
Oh, got a casino heist. Ooh. That makes me want to actually play this game again, dude. GTA 5, man, it just keeps evolving.
Just keeps trucking on.
Keeps going, man.
The last big content update for GTA Online introduced the Diamond Casino, a new zone where players can gamble, purchase luxurious penthouse, and accept new missions from a new cast of characters. Rockstar has announced a follow-up to the Diamond Casino, a new heist coming in December. Heists in GTA Online are a set of lucrative missions that are tougher than your average job. The heist will be a little more down-to-earth, tasking a group of 4 players to break into the vault at the Diamond Casino and take down the Duggan family, which took over the successful business via nefarious means. Rockstar claims there will be more ways to set up, prep, and explore the mission than in previous heists. There will be multiple paths of approach to any objective, different security measures to consider, and in-mission choices that you'll need to make on the fly.
Dude, I'm pumped.
Players will also get access to a new commercial venture, a retro arcade business property. This will work as a staging ground for the heists, where players can practice hacking and vault cracking minigames. There will also be a very handy master control terminal, allowing players to manage all their businesses from one place, which is a high quality of life addition to GTA Online.
That's much needed. It's getting out of control with all the stuff they've been adding for every damn update. That's
the Diamond Casino heist launches on December 12th, 2019. So, I was talking to Mark about this earlier. Of course, they have to add... I thought the arcade business was just oh, cool, it's something on the side. Of course, it's the staging ground for the heist. So it's just like with the Doomsday heist, where it's it costs enough to just buy in to do the setups already, but you also have to buy the $4 million underground facility and everything.
You could just tell they're all about shark cards at this point. Yeah, it's
that's how they're making their money. It's the only
reason why there's no single player DLC at all.
That's the only reason they're still updating GTA Online. If people were just playing and not spending money, they wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know, they're just You can tell they're ready for GTA 6 though. There's this line in their pockets. They're ready. They're ready to jump on in. It should be interesting.
So the next thing, Microsoft planning second next-gen Xbox that's cheaper and less powerful. This was a rumor last year when they revealed the Xbox Scarlett or whatever that kind of fell off and now is coming back. So it says Project Scarlett isn't just a single console. This one's by Tom Warren over at The Verge.
My God, they need to stop making so many versions of consoles.
Microsoft is currently planning to launch 2 next-generation Xbox consoles for holiday 2020. The Verge says that Microsoft is planning a second, cheaper and less powerful Xbox, codenamed Lockhart, which we've heard already. We've heard that codename before. Windows Central originally reported Lockhart's existence nearly a year ago, and Kotaku now reports it's part of Microsoft's next-gen plans. Microsoft is essentially launching 2 next-gen consoles that will serve as successors to the Xbox One S and Xbox One X. Lockhart will debut without a disc drive, much like the Xbox One All-Digital Edition, and Microsoft is tweaking the console's hardware so it's less powerful than the main Scarlett console, codenamed Anaconda. We understand that Microsoft has been seeking feedback from devs on its next-gen Xbox plans in recent months, and we initially heard the company had scrapped its Lockhart plans ahead of E3. Microsoft still hasn't finalized its next-gen Xbox hardware specs, but we understand Lockhart will now be part of the holiday 2020 launch.
They need to stop making so many consoles at once. I can't imagine.
I can understand the
money.
appeal of it, but I don't think it's a great idea to have these both launch on launch
At the
day.
same, I think they should wait 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just, see, this is another thing. It's like Google. Microsoft has so much damn money that they can go for broke on stupid things like double consoles, triple consoles, and I don't think they'll really lose profit margin just due to Bill Gates, like, what he did for Microsoft, but I don't know, man. I just think they're shooting blanks at this point. I mean, yeah, okay, make
I see
one
the appeal
console,
of trying to get, people who aren't able to spend $500 at once on a console, but still trying to get them to move over to next gen, get into the new ecosystem. But at the same time, it's like.
But then when you think about it, even if you buy into this console that's maybe going to be $350, you're still going to have to pay the whole amount to get the full experience on this console.
Yeah,
in theory,
it's
right?
weird because like.
So you're spending even more money than you normally would just to pay $500.
See, the weird thing is, it's like,
not good
I
business.
wonder how this console is going to work, because realistically, all they can really do, it still has to have an SSD, because if not,
it's
devs are
all
going to be
on.
pissed if they have to make a
two
version of the
different
game
games.
that needs to run on a hard drive. So it still has to have an SSD. It'll probably be a smaller one.
Yeah, I'm thinking 350.
And then they have to have the same parts for the most part. Maybe just less RAM. Maybe
it's
the
probably just
CPU
gonna be less.
and GPU clocked lower. Like it's just
basically
it's basically the same system. You're just purposefully clocking it lower.
Basically, you're making
Purposefully nerfing your own system.
You're making a poor man's console. That's essentially what you're making. And anyone who gets it will be like, you got the poor man's console.
It seems weird to me because it's like.
Yeah.
I think the reason that something like the PS4 to the PS4 Pro worked so well is because it was 3.5 years later, 4 years later,
and it was it was very strategically planned to be halfway through the life cycle. But 2 consoles at once.
And the same thing with Xbox One to Xbox One X. It worked so well because it was 5 years after the console's release or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's the thing. But like to bomb 2 consoles and basically say, hey, here's the real console, and here's the poor man's console.
Plus, especially if they don't name them very well, could you imagine how many kids are going to be pissed on Christmas when they get the nerfed version of the Xbox? Because I bet it'll be
Scarlett.
the Xbox 2S and the Xbox 2X. I bet you that it'll be some stupid naming convention like they always do.
Yeah, like I said, it's just, honestly, I think it not only alienates their fan base, but I think it's a horrible idea to launch 2 consoles at the same time when no one cares about the second console. Everyone's all about the big guns.
Yeah.
And and then it's gonna be like you said with kids getting out Christmas.
And plus the other weird thing is like, how. So now there's gonna be the Xbox One S, which is, your just normal console. The Xbox One X, which is more powerful.
Yep.
Where is this new Lockhart gonna sit between Xbox One X and Xbox Scarlett? Because you would think it would have to be more powerful than Xbox One X. But then if they're going to sell this thing for like $250 and the Xbox One X is still going to be $300, I don't know. There's way too many things to
There's way
to go
way too many problems, but they'll find that out next year.
But, I mean, not to say that, Sony might not do the same thing, because apparently the rumor is that PlayStation 5 Pro might seemingly be teased by Sony. So...
Might as well just put it out on launch. That makes sense, but I mean... See, like, the thing with that is it's the same concept, but it's done better. I don't understand what... I don't know what Microsoft's doing, but the Sony thing sounds a little bit more believable if that's day one, if they're really doing that. I hope they don't.
It says, it looks like Sony Interactive Entertainment is planning on doing this again with PlayStation 5. In other words, it looks like a few years after the PS5's release, we'll get a PS5 Pro. Sony hasn't confirmed this as its intention, but it is heavily suggested that that's what's going in the chamber for next gen during a recent interview with Game Informer. More specifically, according to Masayasu Ito. That's probably not how you say it.
Masayasu Umbedito.
The executive vice president of hardware engineering and operation at Sony Interactive Entertainment, says console cycles are getting shorter, and this is simply because technology is advancing at an increased rate. So consoles become obsolete quicker, technology-wise at least. For Sony, the PS4 Pro was a way to extend the life of the PS4, and apparently the PS4 Pro was the test case for what could come next, the PS5. In the past, the cycle for a new platform was 7 to 10 years, but in the view of very rapid development and evolution of technology, it's really 6 to 7 years, said Ito. Then we cannot fully catch up with the rapid development of the technology. Therefore, our thinking is that, as far as the platform is concerned for the PlayStation 5, its cycle of maybe 6 to 7 years. But doing a platform life cycle, we should be able to change the hardware itself and try to incorporate advancements in technology. That was the thinking behind it, and the test case of that thinking was PS4 Pro that launched in the midway of the PlayStation 4 launch cycle.
This is a great idea, because
doing it halfway through the generation makes sense.
I'm glad it's not day one. If it was, it still would be a better idea than the Microsoft idea. I mean, at least this is a pro console. This isn't like poor man's console status. This is just, hey, if you want to some that loads slightly faster with slightly better graphics.
I'll be interested to see like how dumbed down that Lockhart is. If it's like super stripped down, then I'd say there's kind of no point to it. But if it's like not that much of a difference, like if it's maybe, okay, Scarlett can do, or Anaconda, whatever, the main Xbox Scarlett can do, say 4K, 120 frames per second, and maybe Lockhart can't do more than 4K 60. I'd say that's not too bad. But I don't know. Seeing it the way they're advertising it, it's going to be like a more
it's just gonna be dubbed, but
yeah, it's gonna be like more. What's the word? I can't think of the word right now. It's gonna be
generic.
More serious than that. Like it's gonna be a much more of a downgrade than just like.
We're talking like generic brand batteries compared to Kodak Extra Life Alkaline or something like that.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how things shape up. I mean, realistically, we're less than a year away from the new consoles being out, which is crazy to think about.
I'm excited.
I'm hyped, but yeah.
I'm living my best life. I'm excited. I'm ready for this. I am never committed to a brand new console, day damn one, but I think the PS5 is going to be it. Just because I could easily afford that.
Yeah.
And I honestly have nothing left to lose, because, backwards compatibility. I have my old consoles.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5, I think. Now the question is how long we have to wait for another console after this. I'm thinking a good 10 years, because I can't see how they're
the article was just saying 6 to 7 years. So
dang, that's crazy.
So it'll probably be something similar. I mean, we saw PlayStation 4 and Xbox One both launched in November 2013.
2013, and here we are.
And then PS4 Pro launched 2016, I think.
And then 2020 is.
And then 2017, I think, was Xbox One X, and now 2020 we get the new console, so it'll probably be something similar.
It's just kind of crazy with consoles. I never thought they'd even get to the point where like a lot of people are kind of like, is there a reason to keep making new consoles? It's getting there. I'm glad we're definitely going to be getting another console gen past the PS5 Xbox Scarlett, so at least we could just hype for that one. That's cool. We get one more really damn good gen, and I guess we'll see where it goes. Supercomputers.
I'm not gonna lie though, like I feel like people have been saying that people have been saying this is gonna be the last console generation since like the PS2, and consoles just keep getting more popular.
I'm just wondering when the line's gonna be drawn. I mean, with technological advances, I guess it depends on how quick technology advances in order to see how far a gen lasts, because technology keeps evolving.
I think it might end up like maybe PS6, if that ever happens. I think that might end up being maybe only like a 4 or 5 year generation or something. Like it might keep getting smaller. Until eventually consoles are like, oh, we just get a new one every year, like phones.
Oh my god, if we get it every year like phones, the price point can't be that high. Can you imagine that? I just bought.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but phones are also $1,000 now.
Well, keep in mind though, you get phone plans through your company. You don't pay that
I mean,
money.
true.
Does that
Some
mean,
people do pay $1,000 because they're like, oh, I need my phone unlocked.
Yeah. Some people are fucking idiots and they'll drop $1,000 out of nowhere, and then they'll literally dig up their bank account savings, checking all that, and just for a phone. $1,000. But yeah, does that mean in theory if we got a console every year, does that mean Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo could start like a plan like AT&T and Verizon do, where you pay by the month for your console?
I mean, to be fair,
It makes
Xbox
sense,
already
yeah.
tried that last year. I think around the holidays they did something like that.
They tried that. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
I think you could only do it from a Microsoft store, or a Windows store, whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah, because it'd be like, oh, well, you pay us so and so a month for your. It's basically like Rent-A-Center.
I could see them doing that though. Like if you buy it directly from their website, it could just be like, oh, $20 a month or whatever for 24 months or something.
Yeah, because I would do that if they made it easily affordable for a good amount of people. That could work. That could be the next gen of consoles.
I don't know.
Hey, I guess we'll see what happens on that one.
I think that's looking a little bit too far into the future.
It's too far in, but we'll have to see. Crazy shit.
We're talking about.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about our boy Crash Bandicoot, our Lord and Savior.
Fully erect.
So, if you guys haven't heard by now, there's been leaks, rumors, and teases, all of a new Crash game kind of coming together. And rumor is that it'll be revealed in December. We're in December. So that means
it can't
realistically, it'll probably happen next week. Either at the Game Awards, or there's also been a rumor going along with this game that it might be 1 year timed exclusive on PlayStation 4, similar to how the Insane trilogy was when it released. So if that's the case, we could see it at PlayStation State of Play, which they're doing Tuesday of this coming week.
And we could see that bad boy in June. That seems to be Crash Bandicoot month.
Yeah, the rumor is that it'll release in June, which lines up with the Insane trilogy launching
Makes
June
sense.
29th, and then
CTR.
I think CTR was the 28th or the 30th last of this past year.
Crash is June and Spyro is September, but that's a whole nother information piece.
But we got two different articles. This first one is from Games Radar by Alex Avard. It says, is PlayStation teasing a new Crash Bandicoot game for next year? A PlayStation advertisement may have just teased the existence of a new Crash Bandicoot game, rumored to be called Crash Bandicoot Worlds. It would be a sequel in the famed platforming franchise that's reported to be in development at Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob.
Which makes sense, because these companies work with each other at all points of any game, Spyro, Crash, anything like that. So they're all under one umbrella, essentially.
The most compelling evidence for this comes in the form of a strange mask seen following Coco and PlayStation's It's Time to Play commercial. Spotted from the 11-second mark onwards, while masks have been a mainstay of the Crash Bandicoot series since the 1996 original, this floating head is completely fresh-faced that, as far as fans can tell, has never been seen before from the marsupial's esteemed history.
I think we need to just play that snippet real quick. I have not seen it. Is it the lunar mask? I heard there's like 3 masks in this game. The 11-second mark. Alright.
I'm just going to edit this out of the podcast, but
That's okay. I'm just curious.
it's this mask.
That's the lunar. Okay. Oh, okay. I saw that snippet before. Oh, it's from a full commercial.
Yeah. That's probably the best shot you get of the mask. You get to see the back of it following Coco out of the garage, and that's pretty much it.
That's so cool.
But
well,
yeah, so
we watched the snippet video. Obviously can't have it in due to copyright, but so that's the lunar mask. Apparently there is going to be 3 masks in this game.
3 new masks.
3 new masks, and along with I'm sure
probably
the 2
Aku Aku and Uka Uka.
So essentially this is kind of like Wrath of Cortex, except instead of different elementals, it's different lunar masks. Solar lunar masks. So this is going to be very cool. I'm very excited. It's about time we get a direct sequel and a brand new Crash game that people actually like and want. Not going to talk about those games of the past that... Oh, God. Oh, man. Those were rough.
Nicholas Cole, character artist at Toys for Bob, also coyly acknowledged the mask's unexpected appearance when asked about it on Twitter. While the Spyro Reignited trilogy itself accidentally leaked its own concept art for a new Crash Bandicoot game earlier this year, adding further momentum to the rumor mill. In addition, another PlayStation advertisement this time spotted across a number of buses in the UK also appears to reveal a new and improved look for Crash, leading many to speculate that this is the character's upgraded model for his incoming follow-up. Did you see that picture?
I saw that picture. I heard that's fake. But if that's real...
It's a real advertisement.
It's actually...
I've seen it on Reddit.
Okay, someone was... Maybe I was thinking of another model from a bus, because they were saying a bus thing is completely debunked. I feel like he will look something like that, though. I mean, it looks like Crash. He's just rounded off, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really look that different.
It doesn't look that different.
Some changes here and there, but it's the Crash you know.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, people were talking about a lot of this for a while, and the thing that I do like about this rumor, and I mean, it's going to happen, whether it's Crash Bandicoot Worlds or Crash Bandicoot Lunar or whatever they're gonna call it. But the cool part is, I'm sure this is in your articles probably about like the more so open world, but it plays like Naughty Dog's engine and. Yeah, so all these things I can see happening. But let's get on down to this amazing information. Let's dig into it.
It says, meanwhile, all of these clues corroborate with a newly reported rumor about a Crash game in the works, leaked by the same source that accurately revealed the existence of the Insane Trilogy and Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. According to the source, Crash Bandicoot Worlds will apparently see the Marsupio travel around Earth in a Mario 3D World-styled adventure, featuring new enemies, characters, and more. Activision, Crash Bandicoot's publisher, has said nothing, but the internet's rumbling seems to suggest a reveal for Crash Bandicoot Worlds is imminent, and a trailer at this year's Game Awards show in December seems likely, given the Nitro-fueled debuted at the ceremony last year. We'll let you know if and when we hear anything from Activision itself, but until then it's looking highly likely that everyone's favorite Jort wearing a marsupial is back.
Okay, your browser said that. Oh, snap.
Yeah, the article cut out as I was reading the last sentence.
Oh, snap. I just see like a thing like... It's like, yeah. Yeah, I think... I really... Now, is this going to be called Crash Bandicoot Worlds? That's debatable because apparently that thing that was going around, apparently Canadian guy A's friend made it just to see what would happen. So I don't know if that's true, but it looks really legit. It's not like you look at it and you just say it's fake immediately. And they kept the same style that was from the Insane Trilogy reveal. So that's why it looked very on point. But yeah, I really do think we're going to see a game that is a little more open, not entirely linear, plays like the Insane Trilogy. I mean, why would it not? That has to happen for people to like it. Let's be real. And I think it's actually pretty cool knowing that we apparently might have side missions where if in one mission, say, a path gets bombed out, like these levels will transition depending what you do in these side missions. So say if a path gets bombed out for Crash, in another mission you play as Cortex bombing this path. So I'm very curious to see what's gonna flow. I mean, the game sounds great. It sounds fresh. It sounds new. Crash Bandicoot has always made ideas into their own from Mario, respectively, whether it's Crash Bash, Crash Team Racing. So I think we're going to get a game that is very similar to a Mario World concept. So that's why I could see Worlds being the name, but who knows.
The thing that excites me about it is, well, not only is it our first brand new Crash game since 2010, I think.
And our first actual to the root game since probably 1998.
But it sounds like it's trying to take the open world concept of Twinsanity and build on it and make it something that fits more closely into the original
that people
trilogy like concept, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
but it's also fleshing it out into slightly more open worlds, more explorable areas. That it sounds really cool.
It just sounds like Twinsanity done right. And I like Twinsanity, but to me, as I've said before, I think it was like the last breath of that original era of Crash Bandicoot. I liked it. I mean, yeah, everyone's like, oh, it's a Twinsanity remake, and it's not. I mean, I don't... Do you see them remaking Twinsanity? I see them doing it when they have no other options. I think Crash Bash
maybe at some point, but I feel like we're definitely at least getting this new game, plus I think a new racing game first.
Dude, I am ready. I'm glad they're finally taking it seriously with the racing series, because they really have a solid engine, a solid layout, a solid fluent formula to just... Honestly, they can copy-paste CTR Nitro Fueled and just revamp all the maps in the campaign, and people would egg it. I would buy it in a heartbeat, you know?
Crash Team Racing 2. I doubt that's what they'll call it, because they already had a Crash Team Racing 2 on like iOS in like 2011 for some reason.
That is actually where that Yanda Panda girl is apparently coming from. That is.
I think she's in there, but I think she was initially from some DS game called like Crash Boom Bang or something like that.
Boom Bang, and
it's like a weird like anime looking like rip off of Crash Bash.
Yeah, and Pinstripe actually even appears in that too, which is funny.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's very interesting. Like I said, I would geek if they ever tried to do Crash versus Mario. You know, people,
that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Will Nintendo do that? They might turn a page for some money. I don't know.
I mean, Nintendo
cool.
would do it, but it would be exclusive
have to be
on Nintendo Switch or whatever console they would be on at that time.
Yeah, and I really do think if they really had to make a next racing game, I think they should do Crash and Spyro Racing. I think that would be...
I'm sure they definitely will.
Why not make your two
Because I think it would be also
series,
awesome to see them both in the marketing material, both like... Because as cool as it is to see, like, oh, you have Spyro, Hunter, and Astinor, you got Spyro-themed carts, paint jobs, one Spyro-themed track. I would love to see, like, a bunch of Spyro-themed tracks, a bunch of the Spyro characters.
And, well, it's basically confirmed we're practically getting another Spyro thing, so I think we're going to get 3 Spyro ones in total, 1 for each game, but I feel like if they do that, that's subliminally building up to a Crash and Spyro multiverse crossover. Because then when you think about it, you could have Crash levels, you could have Spyro levels, you could have Crash meets Spyro environments.
That'd be cool.
That's a perfect concept. I think Activision should make that happen. If Activision wants my money endlessly,
they will do that.
They'll do it. They will do that. I will just completely, just as if you're in a strip club, just throwing money.
I'll make it rain all over Activision.
God, I would just be
for a Crash and Spyro racing game.
I'd make it rain for that game. But yeah, the new Crash Bandicoot game, though. I mean, should we talk about the Spyro rumors that are already starting? I mean, I think it sounds like a set game plan.
I actually haven't heard much about the Spyro rumors, so if you could enlighten me.
Okay, so ironically, I mean, I guess this makes sense because, like I said, they're all under the same umbrella: Toys for Bob, Vicarious Visions, all that stuff. So they all help each other out with these games, and as the Crash Bandicoot Worlds thing started to come to fruition, or just the stuff he was reading before Crash Bandicoot Worlds was like a name title that they had, they started talking about a new Spyro game, and some of the leakers in the community were talking about it because they got their hands on the Crash Bandicoot news. So while they were at it, they're like, well, on top of this Crash Bandicoot news, I can confirm that there is without a doubt a new Spyro game coming in September 2021 that may in fact be on, well, I guess in that case it would be on PS5. So,
I could see that. I mean, I don't know if that necessarily needs to be like a leaked, confirmed thing, because, I mean, granted, it's only been 3 different games so far, but they did Crash in Insane Trilogy, released in, 2016. Then it was 2017 they did the Xbox and PC port for Insane. Then 2018 was Spyro. Then 2019 was
Crash Bash. I mean, Tag Team Racing. So, so CTR was that. So it just makes sense that Spyro is September 2021.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, news coming into, like, what
Plus,
they
I
could
could
be
see
doing.
it, like, Toys for Bob, assuming they'll be, like, the main developers on that one, like they were for the Reignited trilogy. It would make sense that they're kind of working on it right now in the background, probably getting concept art ready, probably figuring out a base, like, what are we doing for this game? And then once they finish up on helping with Crash Worlds, they'll go full on into development with Spyro, while Vicarious Visions will come over once they're done with Crash Worlds and help them finish up Spyro, and it'll probably keep going kind of back and forth like that, how they've been doing.
So basically Crash and Spyro are back, AAA series year after year. The only thing that people were really saying about it is that they're looking to make an ambitious installment, and they want to make something that is to the root and something that plays into the story that people actually like, and not Skylanders, because that's what killed that series. So it's basically like we are whitewashing.
I want to see a continuation from 3.
Yeah, that's the idea. I think they might even be fooling with Enter the Dragonfly, which was the first PS2 game for Spyro.
I wouldn't necessarily. Well, that kind of played off the story.
Yeah,
of 3
because that
too.
played off the story of 3. So I think we're looking at something around something like Enter the Dragonfly on next gen consoles, something ambitious like that.
Well, Enter the Dragonfly wasn't that great of a game, to be fair.
No, it really wasn't, but it was pretty ambitious. I liked the Hero's Tale more personally. I thought that was the last really good Spyro. So. And
then they rebooted it with Elijah Wood and Sparks with a deep ass voice for some reason, and all the other bullshit that came out of the Legend of Spyro series. And then they rebooted it again for Skylanders, and then they fucked that whole shit up too.
Essentially, we are gonna just ignore the in between Crash and the in between Spyro games because they were absolute dog shit. I think we can all admit that.
Pretty much.
I think they ruined those series, to tell you the truth.
Pretty much after Twinsanity and after A Hero's Tales, where both series fell off.
Yeah.
For most people.
Yep. That's where it went. That was the last breath. I think that's why I like The Hero's Tale so much, because it was something... It was like they tried to do Spyro 3, but then they tried to blend Enter the Dragonfly with a new concept.
It was, I think, what the natural evolution would have been from Spyro 3, of like being able to play as the, all the different characters, not just Spyro and different things.
And if you want to hear, this is something that not many people know. So between me hacking codes and doing all the hacking kind of stuff on consoles back in the day, so I ended up figuring out codes and finding codes from my friends that you could play a test level in Spyro: A Hero's Tale, and that test level is Hogwarts Castle.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
It is in A Hero's Tale. It is the test world, and it's not fully functional. It's like when they were making...
That's how most test worlds are in games.
Yeah, they just had the Hogwarts Castle, no texture. It was just a white, but it was fully constructed, just white. And you could fly around, you can go in the castle, fly around the corridors and classrooms, and there was nothing in them. They were just filled out white rooms, but I thought it was cool knowing that they did that as their test world. It was just
I love little Easter eggs like that. There's always stuff like that. It was a little Easter egg,
and I'm pretty sure that studio was making a Harry Potter game, so that's probably why.
What studio was that?
I have no idea who made it. Yeah, they were...
I think it was Traveler's Tales.
Yeah, they were like in production of a Harry Potter game, and I think that's where they just did, hey, let's do 2 birds with 1 stone and construct our Hogwarts castle and fly Spyro around. That sounds pretty cool.
I spelled tail wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, so from just hacking codes and having fun with games and just going through the SLUS files and all that stuff, you meet people that make codes and all that, and then one day my friend tossed off a code for the test world, and I'm like, no way, and yeah, it was so cool.
It was made by Eurocom.
Yep. Okay. Wow.
And published by Vivendi Universal.
Dude, Eurocom made Crash Bash. They were still existing for a few years.
I honestly didn't know that they still existed long enough to make this game.
Me either. Wow, that's crazy. So Universal, I guess that makes sense why Harry Potter was a test world, but yeah. Yeah, so that was a fun little factoid there for you. If no one knew that, if you can go look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I feel like we should just go look it up after this video because it's something really cool.
But
yeah, I think that's all we got.
I'm hyped. I hope we see it at the Game Awards or State of Play, whichever one. Game Awards probably makes more sense since CTR was revealed there.
I'm assuming if we're going to see it at the Game Awards, doesn't that mean that the hosts are going to be getting some kind of teaser, like they got the orange fuzzy dice?
Maybe.
Or do you think they're just going to full on blow people's minds? I mean, at this point, they have nothing really to prove. They could just drop a game like it's hot, and that's it.
I think it would probably be better for them to just wait and just not tease it and just show it, on stage. Because I think the CTR thing was kind of like, okay, well, we see how successful
Twinsanity was, I mean, not Twinsanity, Insane Trilogy.
And then also we were coming off of the couple of months of success that Spyro had been getting. It's like it made people were like, okay, when are we getting Crash Team Racing? Because that's what we want. That's what we want. Is Crash Team Racing.
I think that's probably what.
So I think it made sense enough to just be like, hey, here's a little teaser. Get your mouths wet. Start salivating a little bit.
Get your jizz all over the place.
yeah.
Get some new clothes and a new dresser, because here it comes.
Get your tissues ready.
Get your tissues ready. Get
But,
the lube ready, you name it. But yeah, I think
for this, I think it would benefit from them not teasing it.
Yeah, because
I think the ideal thing would
makes
be
sense.
because I think Crash Team Racing is up for like best. I don't. It's weird. They like combined a bunch of categories this year. I think it's either best sports / racing or best family game. One of the two.
Wow.
So, for me, if it wins, I think it'd be perfect. It's like, oh, thank you guys so much. We worked so hard to bring the Crash Team Racing back to life exactly how you remember it. Whatever. But we got something special for you, and they just like turn to the screen.
They just turn to the screen.
By God, it's Crash Bandicoot World.
And then you'll just see like the new mask float across the screen. I think I feel like this mask is going to be part of their review.
I feel like it might be like the main villain, or actually not. Well, if it was following Coco, that wouldn't make any sense.
I thought it was following Cortex personally.
I guess it could be either one.
I thought Cortex has these masks according to what happens with these rumors, but I don't know.
That or maybe Cortex has like an army of these masks, and there's like one that aligns with Crash and stuff like that to help them out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know,
and
but still,
we'll
see at least one of the masks in this reveal teaser or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna come out like that, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool just to see something new. And people are definitely going to lose their minds. Imagine if this game just looks like a game like that was Mind Over Mutant or something. I'd be like, wow.
I'd be so pissed, dude.
I'd be so pissed. Yeah, I don't think there's any way they're doing that.
We heard you guys loved Mind Over Mutant, so we're remastering Mind Over Mutant. It's like, no! Damn it!
Dude, they would probably get death threats. Straight up. They would probably get death threats. I mean...
I'm still pissed that fucking EA dropped the fucking skate license like a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
That makes me real fucking sad, man.
They could have easily remastered all 3 games.
Or made a new one.
Yep. So I'm guessing...
They could have made a fuck ton of money off of either of those things, but...
Well, I'm guessing Tony Hawk's looking pretty damn good right now, because Skate dropped out of it entirely. It's just like...
I thought Tony Hawk was going to align himself with Skate.
I thought he was actually going to make a half-and-half game. That would have been something. 2 styles, 1 game. It'd be so cool. You would just see like half Tony Hawk, half Skate, and you would have like Tony Hawk on the cover with like the other half being him and Skate. I think it'd be cool. But that's clearly just a dream.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I know.
It's kind of like how fucking Rockstar dropped the Midnight Club license a long time ago. Which we saw, like, leaked screenshots of a supposed remake like 3 years ago, but I think those were just fake. I think it was just like a fan-made thing.
Yeah, and well, speaking of Tony Hawk, it's a known fact right now that they're planning to remaster the original Pro Skater series and the Underground series. They already have prototypes of the first 2 games, so I think if that came to fruition, I'd like to see all the levels in the game with new pros and the same goals. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So
I think they would have to do new pros, because isn't there people in those games that have died? Or no?
I don't believe so, but I think you might as well just bring in new and old faces, because it's a new game and a remaster and a reboot.
I mean, it depends. If all the original skaters still want to do it and still want their likeness, then sure, it'll work. But
yeah,
if not, they'll have to bring in new people.
Yeah, because even Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD, they had a half-and-half. They had like Riley Hawk in the game and all. And yeah, so I'm thinking...
Yeah.
I'm thinking we'll get something good from that series at least. It sucks that Skate dropped off. I mean, I was never a huge Skate fan. I've never cared for the series, but like to see that rumor, yeah, just to see that rumor drop to the wayside and have them drop the series, that's just tragic.
It really affected me a lot because is it
the Hall of Meat
is one of the skate games one of my top 10 games of the decade? I don't know. You'll have to watch the next episode of Pizza and Pixels to find out.
I know.
Where
it's
myself,
very true.
JP, and Tyler are going to be counting down our top 10 games that released this decade. Be sure to check that out in 2 weeks when it drops at the end of the year. But until then, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Pizza and Pixels, the show where JP and I order a pizza, talk about video games until that pizza shows up. But until next time, another one bites the crust.
Damn right.